He was just 12 when Martin Pistorius came home with a sore throat. It seemed harmless at first, but within days, his condition deteriorated rapidly. He lost the ability to move and speak, and soon slipped into a coma that would last 12 years. Doctors were baffled. Though they suspected cryptococcal meningitis, a fungal infection that spreads from the lungs to the brain, no diagnosis was ever confirmed. Martin entered a deep coma, and for the next 4 years, he was unresponsive. He became invisible to the world. But around age 16, something extraordinary happened. Martin began regaining consciousness. His mind had returned, but his body remained frozen. He could hear, see, and think, yet no one knew. By the time he turned 19, he was fully aware, trapped in a silent prison of locked-in syndrome. Still, not a single person realized he was awake. "I was aware of everything," he would later say, "just like any normal person, but everyone was so used to me not being there that they didn't notice when I began to be present again." The reality struck him hard. He might spend the rest of his life entirely alone, unheard, unseen. No brain scans were conducted. If they had been, they might have shown what no one could see, that Martin's mind was fully active. For years, he lived in silence. The media would later call him Ghost Boy. One of his worst memories? Endless hours of being forced to watch Barney the dinosaur. "I cannot even express to you how much I hated Barney," he recalled on NPR's Invisibilia, where his story was first shared. It was a surreal torment for a young man trapped inside his own body. Although Martin could see and hear everything around him, he couldn't move or respond. His body was like a shell, and even when he began making the smallest of movements, no one noticed. That's when the emotional weight set in. The constant replay of children's shows like Barney became unbearable, a symbol of his powerlessness. "You don't really think about anything. You simply exist," he later said. "It's a very dark place to find yourself because, in a sense, you are allowing yourself to vanish." Still, he clung to awareness. He listened to world news on the television. He heard conversations, arguments, laughter. He knew life was happening, just not for him. He watched his family continue their lives, take vacations without him, and worried endlessly that something would happen to them and they'd never return. "I have a younger brother and a sister, and they and my parents would go on holidays without me," he told Mail Online. "The worst part was the fear they'd have a car accident and die, and would never come to fetch me." Yet, despite the grief, he never felt anger toward his family. "I knew they loved me and they did the best they could," he said. "But I felt furious about the situation. There were many times when I cried inside. I reached a point where I essentially gave up. And then, a shift. A new presence entered his life, an aromatherapist named Virna van der Wal. She noticed something no one else had. A subtle smile, a flicker in his eyes, a slight nod. It was enough. She believed he was in there. That moment changed everything. Virna insisted Martin be tested. His parents agreed, not knowing it would become the turning point they'd been hoping for all these years. The tests confirmed what Virna had sensed. Martin was conscious, aware, and responsive. "Happiness surged through me," Martin recalled. "I was Muhammad Ali, John McEnroe, Fred Truman. Crowds roared their approval as I took a lap of honor." After more than a decade in silence, someone had finally heard him. His parents bought him a computer with special communication software. With time, training, and persistence, Martin learned to use it. He could finally express himself. After years of being unseen, he could now speak, even if only through a synthetic voice. In 2003, Martin took another step forward. He got a paid job at a local health center, working 1 day a week. It was a simple role, but to him, it meant freedom. Life had returned. He began to experience the world in vivid new ways, seeing brightly dyed mohawks for the first time, tasting candy floss, shopping for Christmas presents for his family. "At every turn, my eyes opened in wonder," he said. Even the surprise of seeing women in short skirts was a sharp, new experience. Martin's recovery continued. He learned how to design websites and eventually graduated from university. Slowly but surely, the boy who once disappeared into darkness rebuilt his life. He now runs his own web design business and is married with children. His story reveals how much we still don't understand about the human mind, especially in comatose and locked-in state. Martin Pistorius, once dismissed as gone, proved just how present someone can be, even when no one sees them.